Hey, everybody.
Hey, look at that.
Hey, Abby, great to see you. Jayson, thanks for joining us, of course. I see Buzz is here and crew.
We got
Cody, nice to see you. Nicole, welcome to the call.
good stuff. Fantastic. Oh, Gus.
Gus, thanks for joining us. Good to see
Good,
you.
good to see Gus.
Now,
So,
we like to see everybody on camera. We think that that's better. There we go. That's
you got a
way better.
chance?
But that's Aaron, not Buzz.
That that
For
is,
some
but
reason,
that's okay.
How's it going? Buzz
We
too.
got Buzz too. We can.
We got Buzz Saw and Buzz too.
Fantastic. Good to see you, Cody. Excellent. If you guys don't have it set up for gallery view, we always find that that is the best way to interact on these workshops. You can just go up to the top right-hand corner of Zoom and select the gallery option. Also, it's pretty helpful to have the chat open. Lots of times there are good things going on in the chat, people's comments, good stuff to see there. So go ahead and get that open as well. We're letting a few more people in, and we'll get that going. Hey, Rick, just thinking, I'm not sure if Doug has a co-host on this.
Oh, thanks for reminding me. Yep.
Look at that. Doug, if you want to keep an eye on the participants as well, we can make sure nobody gets skipped out if people drop off, need to jump back on or whatever. Tom Bunn, good to see you. Dan Emo, good to see you. And looks like we got another BuildX, Justin Johnson joining us on the call. So fantastic. Great that everybody made the time today to come and join us as we talk with Brian Javelin at My Online Toolbox and Jayson Miller of TN Miller. Of course, I'm Kyler with Contractor Convergence. For those of you who haven't met me yet, happy to see all of you here, and looking forward to getting this going. Geez, more people joining.
More people are coming. So let's see. Where's everybody? Everybody from?
In the chat, just throw your name and the company you work with. Well, we know your name. Throw the company you work with in and where you're located. So company name and where you're located in the chat, just so we get an idea what our representation is today. So Aaron Riddle, thanks for joining. Good to see you. Aaron Harrison,
this is great.
Domingos.
And we love to see all the cameras on. That just helps everybody build the community, meet people. Can't have too many friends, right? So Domingos, great to see you. Thanks for joining us, man.
We don't have Jeff on the call, but Jeff always claims he has a face built for radio, even though he's a pretty handsome guy. But
he got to go on vacation. I've seen the fish he caught. So that's pretty awesome.
Ontario, Canada.
Very cool. Excellent.
That's awesome.
Excellent. Great to see everybody. Great to hear that you guys are here. Dan, there we go. Nice.
Very cool.
Excellent.
Denver, fantastic. Got Tom Bunn from the Denver area as well on the call today. So nice. Great to see all of the
good cross section all over the place. This is great.
All over Pennsylvania as well. So and Buzz, thank you for bringing your team in force today. We always appreciate when they're involved in joining on the calls. Buzz is BuildX is a current client of ours, very active and engaged in building their business. Anyone from Florida? Well, Brian Javelin is.
So, yeah, our one of our guests this morning, Brian.
Exactly.
It's nice here.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we do a quick round of introductions from us? Kyler, if you want to introduce Contractor Convergence generally, and then we'll let Brian and Jayson introduce themselves, and we can kind of keep going.
Absolutely. So I'm Kyler from Contractor Convergence. Contractor Convergence is a coaching, consulting, and mentoring company that helps residential contractors build and grow their businesses, deliver a signature process for success, and provide exceptional client experience. We have a focus on the pre-construction process that really helps with that. We'll be talking about that today. And we are happy to welcome Brian Javelin with My Online Toolbox and Jayson Miller, who's been a longtime client of ours, to talk about this process of attracting clients and converting clients. And we have such an alignment with Brian and Jayson in the way that our business works, the thought processes of how their business works, that we thought it would be really helpful to share that knowledge with you guys and to give you an introduction to a way of thinking about things, some tools that you can use to think about things, actual real success stories of stuff that is working. Brian's got some really cool numbers to share. Jayson has some great stories and processes to share. And of course, we'll be talking about our stuff as well. Joining me from Contractor Convergence is Rick Burn the Boats Friesen. You burn the boats when there is no turning back. So that is Rick's motto and kind of our philosophy is once you get started on this, you dive in and you just keep going forward. There is no turning back. Doug Lutz is also joining us with Contractor Convergence. And as I mentioned, we've got Jayson Miller from TN Miller and Brian Javelin from My Online Toolbox. So that's it for introductions. Let's get going with this and have Rick, why don't you kick us off a little bit and tell us more of what the overall process is going to be, and then we'll hear from our guests, and we're going to hear from all of you as well. If there's questions that pop up, make sure that you address that in the meeting chat so that we can track those. And then additionally, we're going to have a question and answer session where we can talk about details, processes, ideas that pop up. We really want this to be a learning session to help all of you make improvements in your business. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Rick, do you want me to spotlight you or we'll just stay?
No, that's fine. I'm just going to share my screen.
Cool. Go for it.
And we're going to hit a couple things real quick. Let's turn this on. Again, we're talking about attracting and being able to close that kind of work for all of us that are professional builders. So if we're a remodeler or a new home builder, this is what we're talking about. This is what Contractor Convergence specializes in. And I just got down and dirty frameworks here for you guys. There's nothing fancy in what I'm doing here, but we help attract, sign, and deliver 15 or less projects where you can still hit your growth goals without killing yourself. So that's, if you guys saw some of our emails about that, that's really what we help people do. How do you attract them? How do you sign them, get them into your actual process, sign contracts, and then how do you deliver? How do you have a way to make sure that you will have good outcomes in the actual build process of these projects that you're signing? That's pretty much it. That's what we do. Let me just hit really quickly why this is so important. We see contractors that have two major problems, and one is what we call the revenue trap or the sales trap. And that is when you go out and set up a company, you set up your shingle and you want to go make some money. And of course, you have to go sell something. And when you go sell, typically what happens, something will happen. And we have a moment that we all know well, right? Something happens within the process, and we go through and we don't get the outcomes that we thought, either bad outcomes or just low performance, okay? Well, in the typical ways of thinking about something, if I got low performance on the outcome for what I was doing when I sold a project and I want better outcomes, or I want more money, let's talk about profitability for 1 second. If I sell this project and I didn't get the money that I thought I was going to make on the project, what do I have to go do typically to go make more money? That means I go sell more stuff. Okay, we have to go sell more. And then if we didn't actually fix this stuff and get rid of it, you know what happens? We're still left out here where we have the same problem. We get into the revenue trap area where what ends up happening is we cycle through this over and over and over again, where we're not actually fixing the internal processes and problems that might be causing those low performance. And we get stuck in a cycle where we have to go sell more. And that's where you see construction companies trying to grow and getting stalled out, trying to grow, getting stalled out, or they go sell more, but now they have to support more and more projects for the same kinds of results. And it doesn't work. Typically, this has been one of the biggest problems that we've seen for construction companies that limits their growth. The other problem that we see, oh, go ahead, Kyler.
I was just going to say that sometimes that growth can be hidden well, because as you sell more stuff, you can increase your revenue that hides the key problem of that profitability and not being able to uncover the root cause of the problem. And so that revenue trap that Rick's talking about will often hide the issue. As you scale and you grow, you're going, well, I've got to be fixing the problem. My revenue keeps going up. I've sold more this year than I did last year. I know it's going to be a better year. And then at the end of the end of that cycle, or the end of a job, you go and look and you say, well, that didn't work out the way that it was. I'll do better next time. And so we're looking at ways to break that revenue-based business model and look at profitability in the business model. Exactly what Rick was leading into. Thanks, Rick.
You got it. Second problem that we see. And by the way, has anybody had that problem? If just from really quickly, that description, if you've ever experienced that in the life of your construction company or some version of that, just put yes in the chat. I think that's just helpful. One of the things that we understand as we have conversations with contractors is that it can be a lonely business where a lot of people find that they don't know who to talk to. They don't have people that they can turn to, partly because of competition in the industry, where people feel like they can't talk about problems they have to put on a front, or they can't necessarily talk about the way their business operates with their competitors. And so it ends up like you're on an island. And what's really freeing is if you look in the chat, go look and see how many people are agreeing that these are the kinds of things that they've seen in the business. You all are basically seeing this same kind of stuff. I think that's fantastic. Thank you for being honest with that and kind of seeing that.
I experienced it in my business back in the day. Both of them owned a couple of construction companies, and absolutely, it was just a standard operating procedure. We'll go sell more.
Exactly. So the second problem that we see very often is that we have a fully referral-based business. Referral only is what we're really getting at. Referral only. And that means the leads that we get come from referrals. Now, I've seen guys brag about this all the time. I'm a referral-based business, and that is something to brag about. There is something that's good there in that you built a business on referrals. Okay, so you've gotten to where you are on referrals. Sorry, I started writing the wrong word there. You built your business so far, which is great. That also means that you're able to get clients and continue the process. So something is working. And that also means that you are getting testimonials and other good outcomes for your clients if they are continuing to give you good referrals. But the black side, the downside, and the stuff that scares people like Brian and people like Kyler and me is the dark side to this referral-only based business model, which means that you don't have control over those referrals. In other words, you don't necessarily have a say in quality or targeting of those referrals. You just get what you get. There's no control. The last part is the part that really scares us, and that is that there is no gas pedal.
And that's something that Brian's going to talk about today with my online toolbox, is this targeting, this gas pedal concept, being able to measure the process.
There is no ability to go get more referrals once the referrals dry out, or you're starting to shift your business model, or let's say you want to go for larger project size or something else. There's no way to be able to shift this when you are purely referral only. And that's a huge, huge problem, a red flag. It's a very limiting function when trying to change a company's business model. And so what we kind of developed as part of Contractor Convergence is a way to be able to shift this around. We want to talk about really quickly how to be able to rework this. This is what's working right now with our clients over the last several years. We've made it from before COVID, through COVID, and now on the other side through high interest rates. This is what is working right now for understanding a business model that can start to work for you and work with getting the results that you want, where we're starting to move away from that purely referral-based business limiting factor. When you're trying to upgrade your company, it's one of the biggest levers that you hold. You want the ability to be able to say no to jobs that you don't actually want, and yes to only the few jobs that you really need. Okay. Kyler, when we get to the Q&A, maybe you could queue up, I just now thought of this, the job and profit calculator to show, 10 or 15 jobs, what kind of performance we're talking about, if you know the tool I mean. So
I already have it ready.
You are the man. We'll talk about that in Q&A probably, okay?
Absolutely.
By the way, guys, if this is anything that's, I'm just going to put this in here, there's going to be there's no pitch at the end. You don't have to wait. There's no excruciating, painful moment. Yes, we're doing this because we want to talk to you guys. Yes, we are a coaching and mentoring company. We do have 8 seats available in our program where we mentor and go through all of these tools and strategies and offer our community for help with changing up your construction company. Kyler is going to be able to put the schedule a call link in the chat, and he might do it now and we might do it again towards the end, but we're not going to keep on going over it. That's all I'm going to say. If this is something that appeals to you, you want to be able to shift your business, then that's the only pitch you're going to get. Otherwise, we're just going to show you what to go do. Okay. When we're talking about this, we really want to answer these 5 answers business model: who, what, how, when, where. Who are we targeting? What kind of clients do we need? Who are they? And we call them first class ticket holders. We want to actually be targeting clients that have the ability to pay us what we deserve as professionals in the industry. And what we want to be able to do is understand that there are people that are willing to pay more based on the experience that we have. We use an airline analogy all the time on this, where people get on the same plane at the same time and hurtle through the air for the same length of time, land at the same place, at the same destination, at the same time, but they're willing to pay vastly different amounts of money depending on where they get to sit on that airplane. This is the same idea here, that not all clients are created equal. We want the ones that are willing to pay us for an upgraded client experience, okay? And so if we want to say, we want to define what our business model is, the first thing we want to do is say we want to be appealing to first-class ticket holders. And in order to do that, we have to say, what do we actually sell? What do we actually sell? Well, most contractors say and get stuck at the level of bricks and sticks. That's not what we want to do. Bricks and sticks is a focus on money-based, product-based stuff. if we're trying to attract first-class tickets, bricks and sticks is not the way we want to go. The alternative to bricks and sticks is what we say, what you actually want to sell is your signature process for success. What you actually sell is how you will deliver this first-class ticket experience, okay? Process for success. And when we actually tell our clients, use that language, use those words, because when you can talk to a client about your process for success, nobody's going to ask you, well, could we, instead of doing it your way that you've been working on in your business for years and years to deliver great outcomes, could we please do the unsuccessful process instead? Nobody's going to do that, right? And so what we want to do is shift that languaging around. It's more than just language. It's not a gimmick. It's a change in our messaging, a change in our focus. And so we want to be able to shift this over to our process for success as to literally what we actually sell. How has to do with our delivery, and we're not going to really focus on that right now, but our program and our strategies do talk about this with a management stack and production units. How to be able to have the people in the business that can actually do the work and deliver these good outcomes with what we call a red carpet management strategy, okay? And by the way, these people that you want to have in your business that will help you do this are paid for by your clients, not you. They are not overhead. They are a direct job cost. We show you how your clients will pay for this management stack and how you can understand production units so that you can actually deliver on this. The when question is when do we get to start, right? Or when do we get to move forward with you? And to do that, we use a pre-construction agreement. When do we start is a question that you need to have with your clients all the time. The way to move forward with us is with a pre-con agreement. That was a terrible spelling, sorry, agreement. If you've not heard of pre-construction agreements and what they can do to absolutely revolutionize your sales process and your delivery process, if you'll get with Kyler or put it in the chat, we'll send you a video on the three-legged stool and show you a framework for why it is one of the most impactful aligning new strategies that you can apply to your business so that you can do work on behalf of your client and help them understand on paper what their project will actually cost before you purchase a single board, okay? It's how you get to contract signings where it's easy, not hard, not pulling somebody over any roadblocks. Everybody already knows what's happening. The where here is, where do we find these kinds of leads? Where are these leads? And we teach this because if you're going to sell this kind of client and you're going to deliver this kind of process for success and you have the delivery aspects behind you and the client has a path for where they or when they can get started with you, where do we find the leads? And we actually talk about getting leads as your primary lead source through attraction content and you use that anywhere that you are going to normally, all your normal channels, but would also be where you work with architects and designers.
And that attraction content is another thing that I believe you're talking about today, right, Brian?
Yes.
And that's the whole point. This was to build the case for what we're talking about, to show you a business model where all aspects of your business can be in alignment, where we can go get the leads, the people that have money to spend, that are not tire kickers, that have already taken action on a project that they want to go build, that is willing to pay a professional to help them already. and we essentially what we call borrow their marketing. Okay. And so even if you are a design build firm, we'll show you how to work with other architects and designers in your design build firm and not let that be a limitation in the success of your project. Remember, we're trying to do 15 projects or less. This is the model here for us. Okay. No matter what revenue level you're trying to hit, 15 projects or less. All right, really quickly, we want to just go over a couple definitions. Marketing definition for us, and Brian's going to be able to tie right into this, is that we have eyeballs. You need to have an audience, right? So it's eyeballs, which is your audience, somebody that you're actually talking to, and what you're going to say is your messaging. We need eyeballs plus messaging. And we talk about this in terms of, you're going to have to forgive my really bad drawing. This is the lighthouse concept. The lighthouse model of messaging, where a lighthouse repels and attracts depending on where you are and what your messaging is. Sometimes a lighthouse tells you where the rocks are, and sometimes the lighthouse tells you where the harbor is. And that's the whole point about the messaging that we're trying to talk about. We're trying to say, how do we have messaging that attracts first-class ticket clients so that we can deliver our process for success? We have eyeballs plus messaging plus timing, and timing equals action, intent, signals. And now this is kind of technical, but especially has to do when you get into digital marketing and search engines and the technical things that have to be done, how to use your messaging and make it show up to the right eyeballs. You know, we have messaging that shows up at the right time to the right eyeballs based on how that people signal their intent to be able to move forward in some kind of process, what kind of terms they're searching for, what kind of companies they're looking at, their browser history, and all kinds of other things. There's technical stuff there that Brian's going to get into, but really and truly, eyeballs, messaging, and timing is what we're talking about. Now, this is about my last point here, but I really want to show you this really quickly. This is a timeline. When we're talking about marketing messaging, this is where we see people have some of the largest hangups, where they're saying, well, what is my messaging? How do I know what my messaging is? How do I know what to say? And if we said this is a timeline of, let's say, a project, you have sales back here. Maybe this is, contract signing. And then you move into your delivery phase, and then there's post-delivery phase. What is your marketing messaging? And I've got two answers for you right up front, right here, okay? This is show your work. During that delivery phase, show what you're actually doing. Show how you serve your clients. Show what the actual work is. Show the type of work that you're doing. Any kind of social media, any kind of video, any kind of post, any kind of pictures that you can use to show your work is part of your messaging on the delivery side. And over here, after this is where we say show your outcomes. What happened? Did you get a good testimonial? Did you shoot a video with the client? Do you have beautiful professional photos? Show the outcome side of what happened post-delivery, okay? And what you do is take all of this information, you encapsulate it, and you feed it. All of this goes back into sales and marketing, back into a funnel where you're going to filter out people that are attracted or repelled by what it is that you do and what you say and how you talk about what you do. They're going to accept what you're saying. You feed that back in. What do we call showing your work and showing your outcomes and what you're doing. Whoops. Well, whoops. Helps if you don't turn the iPad off. Hang on a second.
I have a feeling it's attraction content, Rick. Am I right?
You are so close.
Rick,
If
when you're
we
done with
actually
this piece-
draw what this is your process for success. How do you actually deliver this? And really and truly, it could include this, because how you do sales also matters. It also differentiates you in this overall process. Your process for success is how you do the whole thing, and you can demonstrate it and show it, and that becomes part of your attraction content, just like what Kyler said. That's a bit of our framework right there. So your process for success is your messaging. It becomes your unique value proposition. It becomes your differentiation. It also lets you build your leave behind package. Now, this leave behind package is something that we're going to show you at the end of this call so that you can do this yourself. Okay. Now, if you're really nice, we might even be able to get you our our templates for how this works. But I'm going to show you how you can take what you already have on your website and turn it into a leave behind package, what you already have, or with very minor tweaking. And your leave behind package then becomes something that you can use as part of this attraction content. It's a new piece of attraction content. And it's what lets you, if we go all the way back over here, talking about your process for success is part of what makes you stand out to your architects and designers. What they want to care about is, are you going to be a good contractor or a bad contractor? Because those architects and designers, they feel that part of their job is to protect their clients from bad contractors. And so when you can show your process for success and you have a leave behind package and you have a process that you can articulate, you're differentiating yourself from 95% of all of your other competitors, probably more like 98 or 99% of all of your other competitors. They just become irrelevant. Okay.
And Jayson's going to share some of his success story around that, because he's experienced this both on the end that Brian's talking about in leading clients with excellent, online marketing tools, getting people in the door, targeting the right clients. And then Jayson's going to talk about how he's been able to convert them and what his actual successes have been with this. So fantastic.
It backs up your sales track.
Rick,
It gives you
scroll up to marketing. That marketing
that?
slide. I'm trying to take a picture of it.
We can get it to you.
Yeah,
Doug.
we can do it all. It's all good, Doug. Thank you. I want to transition now to this digital side of things. How do you represent this process for success digitally? And that's where Brian comes in. And so Jayson, when he gets a chance to talk here in a second, we talk about his case study, the results he's actually gotten. Jayson is a shared client. He's been a client of Brian's for a long time and of ours, and we've married these two things up. So Brian, I'm going to kind of at this point just turn it over to you and let you share what you've been working on and how you kind of solve this equation for clients. And you can introduce yourself however you like.
Okay, will do. Did the screen come up that you see the TM Miller website?
Looks like Jayson's website.
Okay, perfect. Well, first, hello, everybody. I'm Brian of My Online Toolbox. I want to make sure that nobody thinks of me as a web guy, because that's like judging the baker by this with just the sprinkles. I'm really a brand marketer. And is that a good way to put it? I made somebody laugh.
I like it.
Is that the website is the sprinkles, but brand marketing and targeted content marketing is what has been my claim to fame in this industry for many years. But what we always like people to realize is that in every other business of mine and other industries I was in, marketing was always in front of a business before the business was launched. In this industry, marketing has always become like, first it was a necessary evil, and then as companies get more mature, they realize that it has to be in front of their business processes. So even though like Rick was saying, sales and marketing, I like to reverse it and say marketing and sales, because the marketing component is going to help drive the activity to then become a sales portion of your business model. And don't shoot me down, Rick. I was just using the
No,
perfect
it's perfect.
to
It's
say
great.
that.
You're 100% accurate. That's
why we
correct.
talk about it as one of the biggest levers you have in your business.
It's massive. And I always joke, I'm 58 years old. This is my fourth business. I've been in this industry now, I think it's 16 or 17 years. And if you went to say, hey, Brian, you know, what makes you get concerned in life about my business model? And my answer is rather simple. I will begin to worry 5 years after Angie's List declares bankruptcy. That's it. Because that industry, Angie's List, only exists predominantly, and this is what they talk about on their investor conferences. It's not a hidden secret. They exist because of the sheer size of the construction industry that doesn't market themselves properly. You don't have Angie's List for accountants, lawyers, doctors, but in our industry, because they avoid marketing to generate activity, they're able to sell leads. They also know the vast majority of new contractors are not going to make it in business for 5 years. So their target market is that 1 to 2 to 3 year cycle of a contractor. Try to take as much money as possible before they go out of business, and then just keep having the merry-go-round in circles. So for me, it's the harder challenge for me is finding people who wake up to say, let the marketing guide the future growth of the ideal targeted customer, and let me start planning today for what's going to happen 6 months out to a year from now. Once somebody believes in that cycle, now they became a potential customer for me, whether it's my classes or my consulting or both. But if they're really saying in their heart, no, you don't understand, I'm really trying to figure out what I'm doing the second week of December, the sooner they disconnect from me or this presentation, the better, because I can't help. Since my target is somebody who's saying, hey, I want to be healthy, and I'm not looking to buy a pill. I'm just looking to live a healthy life between the gym, how I eat, smoking, drinking, whatever. But I'm looking to have this be part of my culture. So going here to TN Miller, starting with this, before Jayson even picks up the phone and says hello, he's a smart guy, good looking guy, very articulate in how he expresses himself. But who cares? Because the future customer who's going to reach out and start thinking about him in December, January, February, March, or April, they're going to do some research, and this is excluding the referrals. This is just somebody moving to town or somebody who's living out of the country temporarily and thinking about their home in his area. They're going to do research, and they're going to judge a book by its cover. First, you have to hope that they get found in the first place, kind of like having the right book at a Barnes & Noble. If you walk in and your book that you're looking for a business book, but you're in the food section, you're not going to find what you want. We need to make sure that the search engines properly articulate your business. And then when somebody finds whatever it is they think they're looking for, do you excite them, both in imagery, in words and video, and customer reviews and so forth. So using this particular quick example, which I do luck out a little bit because of TM Miller's diversity, but when I meet people for the first time, and a lot of times they'll say, hey, Brian, I just want to let you know I'm in construction. I'm like, well, no kidding. That I know. But let's take another step of a question. Are you in residential or are you commercial? Oh, I meant to say residential. Okay, so now we've come down the ladder of perception that you're not just in construction building skyscrapers, but you're in construction working in the residential market. Some people are home builders, some people are remodelers, some people are both. Let's make believe you say, oh, no, I meant to say I'm a residential remodeler. Then the next thing I'm going to say is, okay, do you do basement remodeling? And of course, just for those of you who didn't see that I said I'm in Florida, being a basement remodeler in Florida implies bankruptcy because nobody does have a basement in Florida. You would be underwater or in the water in a basement. So my point is, saying you are a kitchen remodeler is different than saying I am a remodeler, especially when someone's looking for you. So using the TM Miller website as a starting point, the first thing we need to do, and let me just make sure that I stay aware of the time here to stay paced. We need to first really make sure What exactly do you do? And I don't want you to look at all the options here because a handful of them are going to be going away in 2024, that they were there in the beginning to attract activity, but they're no more applicable. But when we say kitchen remodeling, this is an introduction to specifically kitchen remodeling that's totally independent of the home additions and totally independent of ADUs or accessory dwelling units. So the key thing you need to do is clearly identify not everything that you're capable of doing, but what are your ideal circumstances. So using kitchen remodeling just as an easy one, I have gone to remodeling websites where all they do is talk about kitchen cabinets, kitchen flooring, countertops, and so forth. And they inadvertently distort themselves that they come across like a handyman rather than a kitchen remodeler. Go buy a brand new car. They're not going to talk about the tires. They're going to talk about the brand new car they want to sell you. Yes, and they'll talk about the tires, but they don't promote the tires as the first thing on the homepage of their website. They promote the finished car. You need to take a step back and learn how to properly identify the highest level target opportunities that you're searching for. Once we do, the harder part is even taking it another step further. I could work with anyone on the planet. I prefer the United States and Canada, but I could work much beyond that. And in your case, most of you are in some type of geographic area that you want to be aware that if you don't tell the search engines where you prefer to be, they are going to then treat you like a Chinese restaurant and draw a little circle on the map and say, okay, here's your physical address. And this is the 5 to 10 to 15 mile radius that you're willing to drive to. But done correctly, you might have a area that's 5 miles north of you that's in a depressed or commercial zone of an area that doesn't have the money you want, and 10 miles south is the target town you rather be in. You need to make sure to be clear in the target places you want to be. It doesn't mean you can't go to other places, but we need to create an environment where the search engines understand where do you prefer to go as the primary way of being indexed. So when people are searching for, in this, we're going to get to it in a moment when I show some results, but when people are in very specific areas and type in something about a builder or something about a remodeler, why would you be showing up on page 1, 2, or 3 of the results? Or why not? If the search engines are confused, then you simply are a store without the lights on, and there's no way for someone to find you in the first place. Going into a technical analogy, and Jayson is on the phone, but I don't think he's even looked at this because this is live. But this is something we do for his company behind the scenes. And let me just move this little picture here so I could see better. Forgive me. Everybody here should know that as of July 1st, this summer, Google went through a massive transformation, and there's now what's called Google Analytics 4. The old way of looking at Google is gone. The new way is massive. Many people don't even know that Google Analytics 4 has not been installed on their website. So as the one takeaway, when you walk away from here, if you forget my name or my company name, make sure that Google Analytics 4 is working because the data is massive. Of course, I like to help people trim down where they need to be to focus on something that's measurable, that is, or actionable, should I say, but without any of the data accumulating, you are in a massive detriment in understanding what's in front of you. So using T.M. Miller as an example, and this happens to be live, at least as of yesterday, I'm sorry. The key thing is here is that the number one way, at least for the last week, and I'm going to quickly make a change with that in a moment, in the last week, the number one way that people find him is what's called organic search, meaning they were typing something into a search engine. They didn't know where they were going. They were curious about what they see. They hit the enter key and they plop on their site. And when you look at the numbers closely, depending on who's here, and I don't know if there's any technical people, I'll call them technical folk, that want to challenge me at a later time. And I would tell you, be careful if you go to challenge me, because then I might embarrass you. But this is
Don't hold
very
back, Brian.
serious.
Tell us how you really feel.
Well, I go to the trade shows and people will see the number and go, oh my God, there were only 36 people who visited. And if you're judging based on quantity, you will usually be in a situation where you're fighting with so many tire kicking opportunities and you inadvertently lose focus on what matters. And in this particular case, using this as a perfect example, is that the way I judge my success as a content marketer is when somebody finds me. First of all, in the last 7 days, out of these 36 people that were searching, 73% found value in what they found. That is the first level of knowing, is your marketing efforts correct or not? If too many people are coming and they type in the word kitchen remodel, hit the enter key and go, what the hell is this crap? And they go right off the site, they will then bring that engagement rate down, and you know that your message of attracting people in the first place is wrong. But even more important and exciting is right here. This is how I judge everything I do, which is what's called the average engagement time. Somebody has landed on the site, they don't know who you are, and they're now starting to learn to wonder if you're applicable to them. This right here for a content marketer is a great way to know whether you're successful or not at anything you're doing on a landing page by landing page basis, or paid ads versus organic ads versus referrals, that type of thing. So in this particular case, when you think of a TV commercial and you're just watching TV, the average commercial is 30 seconds. But the challenge for the people on a TV commercial is first, they don't even know what you're interested other than whatever event you're watching on TV. So they need a few seconds to throw their idea out there. Hopefully they get your attention. Then they need another final 10 seconds to be able to reiterate what they just said, trying to find out if you're interested in their product. In this particular case, we already know 73% of the people were interested in whatever it is they were looking at, and we were getting their attention for double the average commercial time, which is massively advantageous to Jayson, because when he finally gets an email, he answers the phone, the people already have a feeling that he's the answer to whatever it is they're looking for. But now we could sit there and go, well, Brian, I know this is a webinar, so maybe you're tricking us, whatever. So what I do is say, nope, remember, I like to show the results real. So instead of looking at the last 7 days, let's just quickly jump over to the last 30 days to see if Brian's full of shit or, full of crap or not. Apologize. But here it's over the last 30 days. Nope, he's now averaging a little bit better, 1 minute and 13 seconds. So let's even take it a little bit further and say, I'll go even another 90 days just to make sure that this is not a fluke here in what's been going on. And when I go back 90 days here, we get to say, okay, over the last 90 days, we dropped down a little bit by 10 seconds, averaging 58 seconds, almost a minute. And on the right-hand side, this engagement rate is still very high, that just under 70%, 7 out of 10 people who bump into his site. And in total, we're talking 294 from the date we started tracking this, which was right around July, I think. But it's a wonderful number of knowing small volume, high quality. And that's the thing that I like to always remind people. I'm 58. I've been addicted to this now since I'm 22. So my whole psychology is I just don't like to talk to people because you seem like a nice person. I really, in business at least, I want to talk to you because you're going to be a potential customer. If not, be a nice person with my competitors, keep them busy all damn day, and just go on your very merry way, and we just wave goodbye to each other. That's the psychology of targeted content marketing. But now we could sit here and go, I'm not going to get crazy on this tool because I could literally sit here for the next hour, but those two key metrics of measuring the engagement rate, percentage of people who care about something when they are not sure who you are, and the engagement time is very critical to understanding how successful you are at attracting attention and retaining it as a starting point. Jayson traditionally does not look at this stuff other than when I'm doing periodic reviews and just letting him know how things are going. But now let's look at it a different way. What are people looking at? And I go to say, I don't know. I need to look at it myself. And so what we do is, it's called keywords. We choose different permutations. This particular topic is a little lengthy too. So I'm going to just make a simple point, is that when we are targeting, the key combinations of the what we do and where we do it, or the where we do it and what we do, these show how we're positioned at any given moment on a particular set of keywords. But the other thing is, and I'm going to go looking right here on the right-hand side, my tool allows me to track keyword performances over a 2-year period. Someone might say, my God, 2 years, I don't have time for this. Yes, you do. Because if you have a 1 to 5 year plan to grow your strength, where we are here, which was actually pretty good at that time, over a 2-year period, we go up, we go down, new competitors show up, people go out of business, some people show up very aggressively. What we need to do is measure the continuity of the strength of your brand. We don't need to freak out that if on a Friday you see a 6% down crease and then on Saturday it goes up 6%, it goes up and down like a bouncing ball. What we want to just do is watch this consistency of your strength getting stronger and stronger. And here at the end of the day, way over here as of whatever the last day was, November 4th, I have here, or 5th that I could get on this little screen here. At the end of the day, over a 2-year period, we've been able to increase his strength by 54%, and we were strong to begin with 2 years ago. So this allows me to say, I now know what we're targeting here on the left-hand side, and I also am able to use Google Analytics to see that regardless of what I'm targeting, how successful am I with retaining their attention. I can, as a marketer, I can make you become page 1 on a particular set of words. But if the people are not going to stick around to see what it is that we trick them to see, over time, Google's going to penalize you inadvertently for wasting their time. Now, how do we do this? Jayson has, over the years, this is not overnight, he has gotten not just Google reviews, but he's also gotten video reviews. Over and over again, high-end reviews, not on him bragging about his projects, but clients bragging about his projects. I warn people that yes, it does take him time to create the project. It takes him time to get the video. But what he also has is the aptitude to deliver it to me. And when we go through all of the pictures, the story, the videos, we then strategically load it onto YouTube. We strategically load it onto the website. We strategically make our Facebook and Instagram posts. That's why when you look right here, when it says Belfair new custom home build story, that was done very strategically to support our longtime marketing efforts. Jayson behind the scenes is always looking to get Google reviews. And even though he could brag about a lot of things, the world in construction is not perfect. Things do go wrong. And even when you go here, you might go, oh my God, he must be going out of business. He has a 4.5 and not a 5.0. No, without me clicking on it, you'll see that he just had a moron leave him a 1-star review, but it wasn't a customer anyway. And he then, instead of answering, even worse, he answered in a very diplomatic way about them not being a customer. So my point is that just because something goes wrong in the day doesn't imply that all of the marketing is going out the window because of one person giving you a bad review, and you just have to take a moment to breathe. But here's the thing. If you do get a 1-star review and you don't reply, that happens to be a negative indicator to Google that you don't care when things go wrong. So it's better to take a moment and respond diplomatically, even though you wish it wasn't there in the first place. Same thing goes when I'm joking.
Absolutely.
Jayson's on the phone, so he's seeing this for the first time, but he knows this. You might go, oh, look at this. He's doing so well. How could he possibly have his oldest social post in April of this year? Again, he's busy building and remodeling huge projects. And of course, someone like me could be turning over in my sleep because I want him to be in May, June, July, that type of thing. We just keep on reviewing this stuff to make sure that no one topic is antiquated, so antiquated that we can't get the momentum going. But at the end of the year, we will come up with a social post. But my point is, I'm leveraging that just because he could brag about how strong his business has become over a period of time, it doesn't mean by simply not making a post on an hourly or daily or weekly basis means that you're failing at your marketing. Going behind the scenes, I like to promote heavily. If you go to the My Online Toolbox Instagram channel every single week, we post a featured project of a remodeler taking the best of their work and marketing it incredibly. In this particular case, on his custom home build page, you'll see a beautiful, it says here, the following custom home build is in Belfair. And I'm not going to click on it. I'd rather you force yourself to go to his website and follow this through. But behind the scenes are dedicated landing pages that were done very strategically to support when he says custom home builder and he talks about Belfair, or in this case, another example of custom home build in Grapeview. These are top-notch examples to, one, cosmetically entertain a customer or a prospect, future customer, and also strategically help the search engines understand exactly what it is that he's being indexed for. So if you go to Google and type in Belfair, Washington custom home builder, you'll see here he's on page 1, but where is he? He's there, right there in the middle of page 1. Really nice thing to be able to get to achieve, to be able to get there. And if you click on it, you're going to see some real impressive results to keep you there. But if you then say, let me try the same thing, but instead I'm going to go to Grapeview, Washington custom home builder. In this particular case, he's ranked a little bit higher. My point is that all of this stuff that I get to brag about, it is done correctly, but it's done methodically over an extended period of time. And if you're looking to consider how you're going to be seen in 2025, not 2024, because that's pretty easy to do in a short term, but how you're building it where it stays consistent, regardless of the ups and downs of the economy, the ups and downs of what your competitors do. If you want to just have this consistent strengthening, then what you need to do is understand how to leverage you being a content marketer's dream, because your entire life is before, during, and after, before, during, and after, and it never ends. So you are a living, breathing newspaper. You just need to understand how to package it all together so consumers could appreciate what you do better, as well as what the search engines feel you could do better. And that begins to build that sustainability that that the Contractor Convergence team was speaking about. Me, without doing much pitching, I do two things. First is I run the My Online Toolbox education series, both for basic and advanced education. I think I can give everybody a link. If somebody wants a deal, I'll give you a deal for the holidays and joining us for the presentation. And we also do marketing plans where we could really take a step back and help you, kind of like a design build firm, and you hire an architect to design the work before you do it. It's the same thing when it comes to specifically marketing, taking everything about who you are, repackaging it, competitively repackaging it, and then positioning yourself to rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, and do it again and again, and just get stronger over an extended period of time. Hopefully I covered it as fast as possible. I did it in under 20 minutes. So now I'll let Rick and team or Jayson take over to continue the presentation.
Fantastic. That is really great, Brian. How many of you, just show of hands, have a little bit more insight into how behind the scenes works in this marketing process? Just show of hands, wave, say hello. You know, Brian is such a resource of knowledge, of process. He's been doing this long enough to track and see all of the changes. I love the approach of we don't knee jerk because of one thing that happens. It's like watching the stock market. You know, you don't make decisions based on one piece of data. You take a overall look, an overall approach, and you say, hey, how's this working? What do we know? What facts do we have? Let's track this over time. And I know that, Jayson, you're going to talk about the impact that that's had on your business. You know, we can say, having worked with you for years, we have seen the impact as we've worked with you on the delivery side of, you know, taking clients and signing deals after you've attracted them. With Brian's process, these things work hand in hand. And so, you know, thanks again, Brian, for sharing that, for giving us insight, for the discount code, or giving a discount for your basic class. If you guys didn't see, Brian just put into the chat the link to his website where you can basically sign up for that basic online class that he's offering that deal on. So really good opportunity. Thank you guys for sharing, for being engaged, for recognizing that this is a learning opportunity for all of us. So really cool. Jayson, let's hear about actual results. So we're obviously both Contractor Convergence and My Online Toolbox have a vested interest in your success. But I think everybody else here would have a vested interest in hearing why it's working, what you're doing that's working. Basically, tell the story of the process that you feel has made a huge difference for your business. Actual results.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that the process is basically letting go and hiring the right people to help you run your company and not trying to do the whole thing. And that's kind of basically how we've kind of, so we started as a family business in 1961, and in 79 we kind of adopted the name of T.N. Miller Remodeling and been in business since then. And you go along, and we were at one point in time a complete referral business, and we just knew that was not sustainable over the time. And so we've had a multitude of consultants that we've learned in the industry by going to trade shows and things like that. And a lot of them have been successful, and a lot of them have retired as far as our consultants. And so we've moved on to people that are new and up and coming thinking processes and technologies, and just try to keep us in front of everybody. And one of the reasons that we searched out Contractor Convergence is basically I just felt something was missing as far as my knowledge base, and I needed accountability. So I kind of got those guys on board. As far as our digital marketing, I had no time or desire to ever dive into what was behind the scenes to make us successful. So I hired Brian in My Online Toolbox to do that. So kind of like hiring our project manager, our superintendent, and our lead carpenters, I just put that marketing and constant sales and business management team together to help us with that. And the results are kind of for themselves. As Brian has shown, we've continuously grown over the years, but what has also grown is the size and the profitability of our projects. So instead of doing $30,000 bathrooms, now we're doing $150,000 bathrooms. Instead of doing $150 kitchens, we're doing $350,000 kitchens. And it's just putting together, again, finding the right audience, putting together the process for success, and just basically tooting our own horn that those projects went well. And here's the live videos from our clients that basically say these guys are great and we want to do things. So we have constant growth in mind. I think we're this year I think we're pretty much going to be even this year what we were with last year, which is like 2.5, 2.8, somewhere around there in work. Yeah. So Kyler, if you want to ask like any leading questions that I can answer, it'll probably go better that way than my scattered brain trying to come up with.
Absolutely. I'll actually let Rick tie the two together, as because we've experienced that with you of the growth, the conversion process of using what Rick mentioned in the leave behind packets, having new conversations with clients, converting them in a different way, being able to sign a lot more work or really bigger projects than you had been experiencing in the past. So Rick, go for it.
Yeah, Kyler, just kind of reminds me, one more thing to say about that is that's something that that's Brian says I don't always pay attention to the analytics on that side of things, but what we do pay attention to is the profitability. And so where we were going from 40% markups and things like that, and basically it's one thing to sell a project, it's another thing at the end of the day, what did you actually collect at the end of the project? With basically miscues or mismanagement or whatever could go south. we've constantly been improving our percentages. And so on a markup level, we've gone from like 40% to like now 70% in our markup, and retaining the margins, that Kyler's told me to do, that I had to do all the time. So that's the most, I think that's, if you were to look at a graph as far as our profitability, that's what's really been important. It's not necessarily that we've added 20 more projects or anything like that, because we really haven't. It's just we've added more quality projects out there. And again, that's because Brian has been able to get us in front of the right people. And then once we get in front of the right people, Contractors Convergence has told us how to present those people and win jobs. So
Fantastic. Rick, you're muted. But it might be your microphone.
Oh gosh, I
There we
probably
go.
have had whole conversation with everybody and I was muted. Sorry about that. What do you think that that's done for your overall profitability, Jayson? Just let's say maybe 2-3 years ago compared to now, just a percentage.
As far as profitability, at least
Increase in profitability. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have those numbers in front of me right now.
Capacity. Let's hit capacity. That's a different measure, like your ability to take on higher projects or higher dollar volume projects and be able to deliver on your promise of client experience.
We've increased that probably at least 60 to 70%.
Okay. So that's almost doubling the amount of flow through to the company, that where you are keeping your margins, whatever that is, right now, keeping a greater portion of that. I know that you restructured your teams, and that had a successful outcome of reducing a lot of stress. Maybe you could talk about that for just 1 second.
Yeah, it's kind of letting go of control and trying to be everywhere at once, and trying to solve everybody's problems, and not really empowering the right people to do the right things, where we turned around and we started to do that. Just because it just came to a breaking, solve everybody's problems. So then training people and entrusting people that they would do their jobs and help us grow as a company and help us be more stable as a company. And I think that's where a lot of the success went, as far as hierarchical rearrangement. Again, a true project manager, true superintendent, a true lead carpenter, and then true carpenters. And then also having another kind of team and staff that are pretty much all subcontractors, and kind of running those at the same time, depending on what the project is. So just that reorganization and rethinking and of how it should be ran, and ran more efficiently.
Awesome. I mean, these are all super great wins. It's been more consistent business for you. You've kept your profitability through growth and restructuring, which is very difficult to do. So, I mean, that's a big kudos to you. How would you say that? And then we're going to have a chance for everybody to ask questions of Jayson or us or Brian here in a minute. But how would you say that, switching from kind of a bricks and sticks model to process for success in your talk tracks and having that leave behind, how has that shifted things for you?
Oh, immensely. Just the quality of people that we want to work with. So, the number one thing is we kind of weed out the people in the first, because we list exactly what we do and how we're going to do it, as far as emails and things like that we give to the clients before we even meet with them. They kind of get an aspect of how we're going to put together a kitchen, how we're going to put together a bathroom, and not skip any steps in that process. And then once you meet them, they're already kind of your company and how you're going to do things. So it's a lot easier conversation, and it's more of order taking than a selling process once you get there. And then moving into the design agreements, it's a lot easier because they already feel comfortable that what they're going to get in that design process. You've already kind of give them all the information they already wanted. They already need to know to make that decision. And then in the design process, that goes smoothly. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It kind of weeds out the higher risk of doing a project or not doing a project. And so when we move in from a design agreement to an actual production agreement or construction contract, it's really the people we want to work with, because we've already kind of weeded out all the things that were red flags with them or things we didn't want to do. So I've said in the past, we almost see that as a different revenue stream. Is we have design agreements as one revenue stream and actual project is another revenue stream, and we're perfectly okay never going into the construction side of it if us don't feel right and to deal with headaches. Now it doesn't solve all issues because people hide a lot of things, but it solves the majority of it.
You mean clients don't tell the truth sometimes?
Not always.
Jayson?
Yes.
I want to ask a question because I don't know the answer to this at all. And we've been working together for a long time. And just for the people that are listening, when I mention these featured projects where the ongoing marketing of take a job, document it from the best of your images, best of your videos, if possible. In Jayson's case, he tends to, when a project is done, he does get really nice pictures taken. He does get a real nice one or more videos taken. But from my end, whether he was doing it with his camera or hiring it professionally, procedurally, I do the same exact thing. And of course, the results look better when it's professional, but not knowing your area. When you finish a job and you call in your video guy and the photographer, on average, what do you spend? Because it's always this variable to me, and I'm dealing in all 50 states. So if I'm talking to a remodeler in Alabama and one in New York City and where you are, the process for me is identical, but how they obtain that real top-notch images and videos is a variable that's beyond my control. So in general, like if you finish that one of the home builds, I don't even know if you're aware of the exact numbers, but what would you pay to have the job documented that when it gets to me, I'm salivating because of the quality being so high? Like, what are the pictures costing you, give or take, and what's the video costing you as that line item that you're aware of it as it's the cosmetic appeal, but it changes nothing for me as far as the process of what I do.
Right. Well, it's a variable, right? Because we hire that video. So we have, actually I just hired a third person, but we have two people that when a project starts, we bring in the photographer to take pre-construction videos before anything starts. And we also hire the videographer to come in and take pre-construction videos. So everybody can see what the project was before that we even started any demo or anything like that. And then depending on what we want to do, as far as how much we want to show a client, do we bring back the photographer after demo and it looks like a complete gut job, or do we skip that phase for that particular project because we're not trying to market that, and we bring them back during some other type of process? So every time we bring a photographer out to the site, it's about $100 a trip, and as many photos as we want taken at that time. The video photographer is a little bit different. What they do is they come out less times because it's not fun taking videos without a lot of progress, because it's just kind of a waste of film and short little snippets. So they're more of like maybe once or twice, and that's usually about $1,500 a project that they charge us for. And then we just hired a guy that Brian, you're gonna love, because he is going to be our social media guy. And he's going to collect little snippets on how we put together a cabinet drawer, or how we install tile, how we put in a shower pan. He's going to start taking little action videos and things like that, so we can get on TikTok and Instagram and have that constant information out there for people, so they can kind of see what's going on instead of having to wait to the end of the project or the middle of the project like we do on Facebook, kind of old school. So again, I kind of stole that from, I think Tom Bunn kind of has a social media person, and so once he had one, I had to go out and get one because I didn't want to be outdone. So we're just going to start that process. So just that, and I'm not sure what that it's going to be a little bit pricier because he's going to be constantly on projects and things like that. So I'm not sure what that's going to be yet, but definitely something we were missing out there.
That's great stuff. And Rick, thanks for pulling up the show your work diagram that you had talked about earlier, because it is right on point with the topic. I do want to open it up to questions real quick. We had mentioned leave behind package, this conversion tool, how do we build, take what you already have and turn it into a process to convert clients that are targeted, that your lighthouse that Rick was describing has attracted or repelled. And so this is kind of one of those final things where we can use the tools. And Jayson, you can speak to this, that you have used this very successfully when you go into a client meeting to basically describe your process for success, right?
Right. So we have what we call our signature processes. And we have one for, like I said, we have one for a bathroom, from a bathroom to a custom house. But basically, it's a step-by-step process that tells the client exactly how we're going to produce that for them and what they expect during that process. And so that's basically something they get a little bit beforehand. They kind of get that feeling as we're meeting with them in person, and then there's that packet is left behind them. It gives us our company history, how we're going to do the project, people that we use on the project. So they're just basically informed about the entire process for success and how it's going to be done if they hire us.
Fantastic.
So really quickly, just before we go to Q&A, let's just show this really fast. We want you to be able to build out a leave behind package for what we already have. We've got a couple examples that we can show you. But if you go to your website and look, your website has your logo. Your website generally has some kind of team photo or about us page or some story element about who you are and what you do. Generally, those things already exist, okay? So we're just going to grab them and throw them on a page. You generally, on a website, have some kind of description of a process for success. I'll show you an example of a very simple one that you could grab and kind of make your own if you want. Or again, if anybody asks Kyler, because I know he's feeling generous, we'll send you templates that you can use that will be a little bit more aligned and have a little bit more detailed. But I'm showing you, this is leveraging what you already have. If you guys use a pre-con agreement or have a design agreement, it goes in the folder next to your process. Many of you online, or if you handle sales, you already have a FAQ, some kind of frequently asked questions that exists. Or if you do sales, you know the same questions that everybody asks all the time. And so preparing an FAQ, maybe 5 frequently asked questions that you want to be able to explain a process or how something works, you're able to just go ahead and do that really quickly and easily from what exists on your website or what you already have in your head. Very quickly, you're able to write it down, okay? Most of you have testimonials, you have a review, you have something where somebody has given you written information that you can, again, throw it on a page. You have testimonials. You, again, have some level of project photos, usually online, and either combine your testimonials and project photos, which equals a case study, if you put them together, or you can just grab project photos as examples of your work from your website and put it together as a short, one pager of kinds of projects that you'd like to do and throw that out there. Many of you already have a welcome letter, like thanks for your inquiry or something like that. Throw that on something where a company logo or letterhead paper, and you can throw that in there. And then if you have instructions about how to get started or how that combines with your process or your pre-con agreement, you can throw that in there as well. Again, this would pad out a 5 to 10 page leave behind package that you could just put into any kind of portfolio folder that you can get at Staples or anywhere else. Nobody cares. Okay. In that sense, it doesn't have to be crazy. Black is always classy, and you put your information in it. You can also get folders printed with your logos on them for not very expensive. Minimum orders probably between $100 and $200 for like 50 folders, and just use them with your clients.
$5 a piece, custom printed, about $5 a piece.
Yeah,
well worth it to capture a job.
So let's actually show you guys really quickly what some examples so that you guys can see this. But I really want you to understand, everybody here on this call can produce this in one day and have something that will differentiate you more than 98% of your clients, or sorry, competitors. We
It's
find
actually-
that when you use this leave behind and you hand it to a very well targeted client and you meet them in their living room, any other people that they're talking to, your folder becomes the container for the other people's stuff, but it's your logo on top. Okay. You show that you're the professional and differentiate yourself with this.
Rick, if you let me share screen, I'll show most recent one that I've done for somebody here.
I've
Why
got
don't
it.
you do that real quick?
I got
Doug?
it teed up already, Doug.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Great.
Yep, first
Go
Lark.
for it, Kyle.
Yep. Juice
Sure.
flower.
Perfect. Let me go
Is it
ahead
okay if
and
we show
share that
a
with
couple
you guys.
examples real fast?
What's that?
Is it okay with everybody? Give me a wave real quick if that's okay, if we just show you a couple examples real fast.
See what this looks like? Cool.
Great. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, there we go. So sharing my screen here, this is basically done for you for one of our clients. We went through and redid their leave behind packet, and as Doug was mentioning, these are the results. So I'm just going to go ahead and open up these documents so you can take a look. It's the initial letter contacting them, right? The new welcome email process. Our story, like Rick said, you can just pull that right off of the website. Frequently asked questions, testimonial sheets. One of the things that I think will differentiate you is being able to describe your process. Like Jayson said, his signature process could be for bathrooms or kitchen remodels. It could be overall, all encompassing for construction projects. But the process of budgetary guidance, professional services agreement. I'm actually going to show you an example of that too. That's the design agreement, project development agreement, the pre-construction that Jayson mentioned as a completely separate revenue source than his contracts. Project development, build contract, the build, the project completion, and follow-up. So Alex is a real simple process. Here is that pre-construction services agreement that he's using. Basically, category 1, in-house services at no charge. Category 2 is hourly rate, billed for developing the project, for planning and the scope, the selections, the working with the designer, the architect, what we talked about for these high class, high ticket, high dollar ticket, first class clients. You are delivering value by handling a lot of this stuff for them. Category 3 would be the outside services that they pay for and get a retainer due. And typically we see those ranging from about 1.5% to 3% of the overall project value. So total dollar of the project, 1 to 3% of that. So that could be, a $1 million project. It could be a lot more than this. You could have a $30,000 pre-construction process on, a multi-million-dollar project. And we've seen that multiple times. So
In fact, he just closed a contract. Slarv just closed a contract yesterday for 1.8 million and had a very high dollar pre-construction agreement that came before that.
Absolutely. Months of project development that he's been working with his client on using that process. Another thing that we, a bonus, and this is has been around a lot. Maybe you guys have seen it before, but it's the homeowner roller coaster. I don't have it aligned correctly. Let's see if I can. I'm not going to rotate that just so we don't take any time, but basically describes the process of the emotional journey of building. So a lot of things that you can throw in there to help clients understand what you do, how you do it, and give them value and set yourself apart, a unique selling proposition to your clients, or a unique value proposition for your clients, to use the marketing term. So real quick, hopefully that's helpful. I know that Nicole, Gus, Dan, you guys have all reached out. Let me know that you would like to start that conversation. And I can get you some of these resources, some blank templates for you to use in our discovery call that we'll get set up. So happy to do that for you guys too. Oh, here's another one. There you go.
Oh, look whose that is.
Hey,
It's
Kyle,
Jayson's.
I'll tell you a cool thing about this right here is that we will get maybe into the project. Well, we definitely will get into the project, and then people will come in and this folder will be used for all their project information. So it will be like an inch thick of documentations from like Pinterest and things they've all collected and everything. But our folder becomes their work folder for the project. And I've seen that several times. And it's pretty cool. And they pull that out and go, well, here's the light fixture I want because I printed it off here. And here's the toilet I want because I printed it off. So things like that is really kind of cool. They keep using that folder over and over.
So
That-
cool, man.
Fantastic.
There's another client of ours, Bigfoot Builders, legendary building experiences is his tagline. I just had to say that because it's fun to use Bigfoot. There's the inside a little bit, again, a welcome or a story, what to expect. Here he's talking about his process that includes a signed project development agreement. Okay. A little bit more about the pages that he's including, but we're giving you the rough framework for a few pages that you can go and grab. We're going to use Tom Bunn and his crew have been on the call. And so really quickly, just to go and grab this really fast, I'm on his team page. So here's a little bit about his story. If you want to just say about us, go grab your picture right off your website and throw this on a page. This is who the builder is, right? Meet the builder. That's good enough. How about our process? He's got his process that's listed out. Our client journey, process for success. Notice we tell you guys, use that actual wording because nobody's going to say, could I have the unsuccessful process, please? So here he's listed out again, what his process looks like. Now, if you have a website that doesn't have a good defined process, we really think that this company down in Newport Beach has a beautiful process for success. Very, very simple. Now, your business might be a little bit different and it might not exactly reflect this, but if you want a way to be able, in fact, I'll put this in the link. If you want to be able to, thanks, Kyler, for putting that. If you guys do want to book a call with us, find out more about how we could work together, just click that link that Kyler just put in there. This is how you can kind of adapt or adopt a process where you could write something out. Again, make it your own. Okay. Don't just copy paste. Don't steal somebody else's work, but make it your own. Again, this is a new client that just signed with us about 5 weeks ago or so. This is their story. They have an about us. Brad talks about why Bradford and a little bit of story. Just copy and paste that onto a page. Grab a team photo. There's a lot of team members at this particular company. Maybe grab everybody together for one photo. Look, there's your FAQ. Copy and paste that into your pages. And I bet if we were to look on here, he might have some project photos. Oh, look, project photos. Cut and paste a few of those onto a page. You've got, again, some example photos of what you could do. Very similar to how Tom Bunn does his stuff here. Testimonials, he's got a whole page of testimonials and videos. Okay. Grab this, make this be a page within your leave behind material. Take what you already have. I really want to emphasize this. Please take action. Don't sleep on this. This is a day's worth of work, and you could have something that could totally change how you describe what you do and be able to differentiate yourself, moving away from bricks and sticks to process for success. Okay.
Absolutely. I hope that's really helpful for you guys. I would like to open it up for questions that you can address regarding anything that we've covered today. Talk to Jayson about his process, talk to Brian about what My Online Toolbox can do for you, or specific things that you might have run into in your business that you'd like clarity on when it comes to digital marketing, website, SEO, all of the things that he touched on today, and then of course us with our process as well. Go ahead and take yourself off of mute, turn your camera on, feel free to interact. Where we like to make this as personable as possible.
And we also understand if you need to go, but we'll be
Yep.
here as long as you guys have questions. How about that?
Absolutely.
I'm here.
Dan,
Could I,
saw you
could
waving
I
your
start
hand.
off?
Yeah, let's do it.
Can I start off?
Yeah.
I got quite a few questions and I can wait for the discovery call, but these were basically targeted toward your client there, Jayson. So
Yes.
I just asked whether he could be on the call at 5. I understand if he can't, but if we can do it sometime later. I don't want to bore everybody with 9 questions that I have.
I understand. Why don't we we'll plan on the call that you had set up. I don't know Jason's schedule, but if there's a time where we can connect the two of you after that discovery call, then absolutely,
Sure.
Dan, I'd love to do that.
And if we could do it all together, that would be great too. I mean, I don't know how you feel about that, but that would be awesome.
We'll make time to do it as long as Jason's available.
Absolutely.
Awesome. And I'm available anytime. This is what I do, man. So I'm very interested in what you guys are doing. I've seen what you've done in the past. I've looked at you before. And I'm really glad to be on the call, and thanks for sharing all the information. I mean, this is huge for me and what we want to do with our it's 2 different businesses, so I don't want to blur all the details. But I probably need about 30 minutes of your time.
We'll take
just
as
going
much
through the
time as you
process.
need. We
That'd be
our
awesome.
priority number 1 is helping clients improve their business. So absolutely.
Yeah, I see what you guys are doing, man. Good job. And I'm glad
Thank
I
you.
came across you guys. And, I can't wait to get all my questions answered and probably go forward with y'all. So
Sweet.
Great.
Sounds
Appreciate
amazing.
it, Dan. Thanks.
I'll
Thank
unmute, or I mean, I'll mute.
All
Thanks,
right.
man.
We'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much. Does anybody else have questions relating any of this?
Process or any of the models that we've shown you, the frameworks, resources that you heard us mention, questions for Jayson about how he did something or accomplished it, or for Brian, same idea.
Justin, I saw you come off mute. What do you got?
Hi. Yeah, so it's not more of a question, but it's more kind of a statement. So I've kind of gone through this leave behind packet with Doug, kind of worked with him a little bit, trying to make sure that we were curating the right information, and had a bunch of questions about the best ways of doing our outreach to architects and designers. So we
Yes.
started past couple weeks, we started to kind of cultivate a living list of the architects and designers around our area. We reached out about almost 2 weeks ago now
Awesome.
to 26 architects, designers. Within the first week and a half, we got 7 responses back, and we have 7 booked meetings. We've met with 4 architects, 2 designers, and we're supposed to be meeting with another architect coming up. I present this packet that we developed with Doug, and everyone is in love with it. They love the process. Everyone keeps coming up and say, you know what? After looking through all this, you guys are so well organized. You're so put together. You have your process in place. Like, why would we want to go with somebody else? And it's not only a marketing play, but it's a way to present that you have your stuff together. You know what you're doing, and you have the roadmap for success. So,
Hey, Justin, could I ask you a
That's
quick question?
great, Justin.
absolutely.
Yeah. This is Dan. You can probably see my mouth talk moving. Yeah. So where are you at in your journey? Let's say, what are you doing now, and where do you see yourself going?
Yep,
I mean,
so,
are you somebody that's building multiple? Are you into multifamily? What are you doing?
Yeah, so we're located in Carver, Massachusetts. It's about 45 minutes south of Boston. We are a startup company. We've been, the doors have been open for about 5 months now. The owner of the company is bought and sold Buzz Sartino. He was actually on here a little bit ago. But he's bought and sold multiple companies and decided to create this new company up. And everyone here on board is essentially new to the company, but not new to the industry. To give you a little bit of background on myself, I've been in the industry about 15 years, worked with a design build. I come from an architectural side of things, actually currently in the process of getting my architectural license. So I bring a little bit different of perspective to the business. And I think that's one of the reasons why, we're doing what we're doing. But we're primarily focused in right now, renovation, addition, ADUs. ADU seems to be a pretty big thing in our area. There's a good market for it. There's not a lot of people that are really pursuing that lane. And we're finding that that transition of wealth that's starting to happen now, people moving back home with their families, the older generation. So we're trying to jump on that now to start off with. But we
Well,
are,
that's cool. That's exactly where we're at with the remodel part of our business, and we're also building houses. So we're actually doing our first ADU on this project right now.
Mhm.
In
Awesome.
Stone Fork
Nice.
area in Denver here. So
Right.
That's
Jason, what's the path
great,
that you guys are on? You're on a like aggressive growth path because Buzz
Yeah.
has you're kind of acting as a general manager, but Buzz has history building large companies. He exited out of a $20 million insurance restoration company and is now building this one. So
Correct.
next couple years, what are you targeting?
So by this time next year, we're going to be targeting 7 million for the overall company. And within 5, we should be right around 25 to 30. And within 10 years, we should be around 50.
and is
It's a
that,
pretty
I'm
aggressive
sorry,
model.
is that all remodel? The
It
projections?
will, so right now it's mainly remodel, renovation, addition. We will be transitioning to more custom home building. But
Okay.
once again, you gotta crawl before you walk, walk before you run.
Right.
So we're
Right.
trying to
Mhm.
establish our name, you get our brand awareness out there, and then start, showing the value that BuildX is going to bring to our community. So that it's a big thing that we're working on right now, just making sure we have that outreach.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. That's
Mhm.
awesome.
Absolutely.
The BuildX team has been really fun to work with. Great group of professionals, and Buzz brought us on in the beginning, just like Justin, and said, we are going to build this by the book, piece by piece, follow the roadmap exactly. And like Justin mentioned, 6 months in, they're already booking calls with architects and designers, getting high quality projects in the door. So it's been a really fun journey with them. And I'm excited you were able to make the call today, Justin, because we
Yep.
weren't expecting another testimonial from a client, but good to have you. So,
Yeah. And
really
one thing
cool.
to add too on that is Justin, as he mentioned, is licensing as an architect, and he has no problem meeting with architects because that is not a no-go zone. It's actually a way of doing integrated project development. And so
Right.
that's a good plug for that, Justin. Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Well,
been
real
our,
quick, Justin, what's your exit? What's your timeline and what's your exit on this particular business?
so Buzz's exit is planning for 10 to 12 years. My goal is to, along with a couple other key members of this team, is to essentially buy out the company when it gets to that point.
Oh, nice.
I've always had the dream of having my own design build company, and this is the opportunity that I've been given. So I've driven and I'm not going to squander it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Super rad, man.
Right.
We're glad you're on board. Jayson, you've been transitioning from pure design build, but you've been like one of your goals here is that same kind of architect designer outreach so that you gain additional targeted, not just random, targeted leads. Maybe you could talk about how your plan is in the coming year for that.
Yeah, so we call ourselves design neutral. We have a couple of people inside, but we also want to expand by using outside people. So right now we're in the middle of animating our process with a whiteboard animation process. And so we're going to take all our detailed step-by-steps instead of people having to read step-by-step on how we do a process. It's going to be in an animation board. I don't know if you guys ever seen those presentations. They're pretty cool. And we've got kind of a case study back that there's a lot more input or customer retention as far as watching what we're going to do if we put it in that type of style. So we're just finishing up our company, about our company and what we are and what we do and how we work with architects. And then we're going to start going out to our list of architects and send that out and set up meetings and things like that. But that's going to be our lead. Our lost leader is putting out this video for them and to get appointments. But we've had people bring us architects before. And as we work with those architects, we put those in our library. I haven't had a repeat one as of yet, but we constantly update them quarterly on what we're doing and if they have any projects that we can be working on with them and things like that because of our success with them in the past. So that's kind of what we've done, but we haven't done anything aggressively yet. And I plan to kind of change that at the first of the year. We're going to go after architects and designers a little bit more aggressively to show them how we can help them out with their projects as well.
That's fantastic. And
Exciting
how
part of the
has
journey.
having Brian in your corner, being able to put the digital representations of your process for success, the versions of our process or the case studies, how has that impacted your ability to sell or to attract those higher end clients, let's say now versus a couple years from ago?
Oh, immensely, as Brian has shared, people stay on our website a lot longer. We have a lot more retention. I have a lot more conversations with people that, hey, we've looked at your website and that's why we're calling today, is because of your website. We've seen your Facebook posts and how you use that as a process of how you're going through the entire project, instead of just like before and after. People can log on to our Facebook anytime and see the process of the project in process. So again, Brian shares all those back numbers that I don't really pay attention to until he brings them to my attention. And then I yell at him when we're not at 70% and we're only at 30%. That's when I say, what the hell's going on? But until then, I don't worry about it, because I trust he's doing what he's good at. And that's the reason people are calling us and hiring us to do the project.
Fantastic. Other
Anybody
questions,
else?
guys?
We've got the crew here. So anybody else have anything else that we can ask or answer for you? Sorry.
I want to offer something just before, because somehow someone else is going to drop off and they're going to miss something. At the end of the year, I get pissed off at how many people have all of these beautiful customers, and somewhere between noon on December 24th and the day after, they post the Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, the superficial, we love you. And everybody does this quick little, I'm so happy and grateful. So we hit an enter key. They try to tell all their customer stuff. And I've been doing something for me now since 22. And
He's breaking up on my end. Is it the same for you guys?
Can you hear me?
No, we got him.
We've got them on here.
I have been mailing handwritten cards since I'm 22. So that's 36 years. Most of you in this type of call are probably dealing with more expensive type of remodeling projects. And what my point is, December is a wonderful time to re-engage with existing customers, and simply a handwritten card. I know no one's going to have to do 300 like me. So let's assume you have 10, 20, or 30. Handwritten cards are really appreciative, especially when someone spent $100,000 to $1 million with you. And even, let's go crazy, there's going to be that day that you could, God forbid, just get in your car and drive to someone and knock on their door and say, hey, I was in the area and I wanted to hand you this card. It's unbelievable the goodwill people get. But even more important, if you're slow, only if you're slow, it's a perfect opportunity to say hello to your customer, shake their hand, thank them for the business. And at that given second, just go knock on the doors left, right, and center, because you're right there. And you tell people, hey, I was just visiting my customer and I just wanted to hand you a card. I know a lot of people get so addicted to, yes, I am an inbound guy. Don't get me wrong. I want to tell you that I'm a 99% inbound guy, but I'm also going to trade shows and shaking people's hands. You people have an opportunity beyond what I'm capable of doing to shake someone's hand and say hello. So just keep that right when it starts to get a little quieter in mid-December. Don't treat your end of year as being how fast you can make a post on Facebook to claim you're sincere. It's better just to admit to yourself that you're not sincere and just trying to do it to get it over with, and do nothing rather than do something that represents the word sincerity. So I throw that out there because there is only 6 weeks left to be sincere. And then if not, say, okay, I'll do it next year. Brian's a pain in the ass. And it's really, I've always been a street guy from New York. So I was so used to always meeting people. And now my career is, this is the best I could do, unless you see me at the International Builder Show or something like that. And then in my case, I just went up to a remodeling show in Virginia. I got a chance to have dinner with 5 customers at the same time, which was cool. But simultaneously, I got 4 video reviews as part of that, because I'm like, now that I have you, and you said for years you're going to mail me a video review and didn't, I'm not letting you out of this dinner until I get my damn review. I deserve it. And you got to, everybody has their own little humor on how to deal with this stuff, but you have had the opportunity to be in people's homes, pet their dog, go to their bathroom, and all these things that have allowed you to establish another level of credibility that's beyond, I haven't even met Jayson. We haven't met yet, I don't think. Have we? Physically? I don't know if I've known Jayson for years, but I haven't had a chance to have a handshake. And here it is, a great relationship. So just don't forget this one shot that you get to really have a little adrenaline built up with establishing and reestablishing relationships. And also, if it's slow, go use the old school of knocking on a door for a moment. And
Heck yeah.
you never know what you're going to find, because most of the people, we don't communicate the way we used to with neighbors to neighbors, and you never know who's next door. Maybe it's a new neighbor. Maybe they were thinking about God knows what, but neighbors don't even communicate the way we used to anymore. So it's a perfect time to just leverage it. And again, it goes against the grain of me being an inbound marketer, but outbound marketing is okay, especially around the holidays, as a takeaway, in case somebody here has said, oh, darn, I was going to do the Facebook post.
Jayson,
A great,
that-
great point.
or Brian, that is fantastic. Jayson is a great in-person guy. I will attest to that. And Jason's form of guerrilla marketing is sending whiskey. So be cautious if you get to know him too well. But I will tell you guys, I think that is wonderful advice from Brian. 90%, do the traditional stuff, but the 10%, that guerrilla marketing, so to speak, the hands-on, the going out and meeting people face to face, has a significant impact. And you couldn't be more right about existing clients and relationships that need the most or have a lot of zeros attached to them. Make those personal connections, especially during the holidays. In the next 6 weeks, we're covering that with our clients, doing assessments of what's working, what you can do better, and really making sure that you are connecting to the people that have the biggest impact on your business. And those are your current, existing clients and your most recent prospects. So
Especially if
great
your
advice,
website
Brian.
says that you're all about relationships. Demonstrate.
Exactly. Great advice, Brian. Any
Can
final
I
questions?
jump on that real quick?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's a great point, Brian, that you made. That is actually something that we have implemented here at BuildX. So once a week, we get together as a team in our mornings. We all meet together. We go through our mission statement and our principles that we're trying to push through. But one of the big things that we also do is we take time, 5 minutes out of our meeting, and we handwrite thank you letters to the people that have either helped us the week previously or helping us currently, or people that we want to make outreach to. And we have had so much success with that so far. People coming back to us and calling us saying, hey, I just got your letter in the mail. It's like, I haven't received a letter in the mail and God knows how long, but this is so personal. This it means so much to them because you're taking out that little time of the day. It's not you just punching in some keys on a keyboard and just shooting it off. It's almost like there's no face to that email, essentially. And once you create this handwritten note, there's value that is just in that deliverable, that it changes the game. It completely changes the game. This is the first time that I've really adopted that kind of practice, and we have found, like I said, we have found so much success with that so far. So great point, Brian. That was a great point.
And Justin, just to add to that too, and maybe again, it's an age thing, but I deal with a lot of conceptual topics. You people luck out a lot because there is a lot of physicality with your clients are going to eventually see something. A lot of my work is intangible. And I've had times where I could almost tell in the email that the people are not mad at me. They're just frustrated with a new topic and they're conceptually not getting it. So I'm just so used to picking up the phone and saying, let's just talk. And just on your end, that sometimes if somebody seems confused, you can with your two thumbs keep texting and keep feeling you're sending them an update. And if someone doesn't hear you, I just say quickly, can I talk to you? And even if they're upset, and I've had people upset, not at me, but at the topic, frustration that they can't seem to grasp what I'm taking for granted. I always tell people the sooner you confront somebody and they hear their voice, the emails and the websites don't allow you to project passion. Your voice does. So just remember that if something seems a little bit wrong, a lot of times it's not even a real problem. It's a misunderstanding and somebody is simply not looking at whatever the hell the content is the way you think you delivered it. So sometimes you're trying to, let me resend it. I'll send it a second time. I go, you could send it 10 times. If the person's upset, they're probably not looking at it the way you think, they're deleting it. So just pick up the effing phone call and say hello. And the worst that might happen is they're unhappy with you for a moment, but trust me, they're going to be happier that they spoke to you and they let off their steam on whatever the topic may be. And my problem is
Brian.
I like my clients, you know, so keep that in mind to talk.
It sounds like you're
Absolutely.
talking about client experience, just like what we were saying before. My
It
gosh.
is, exactly. Well, with that, I would like to ask you guys top takeaways, things that hit home for you, something that you wrote down. If you want to throw it in the chat, that would be great. If you want to unmute and say my number one thing was, that's fine too. Would love to hear from you guys before we sign off today.
I'll go. Yeah, my number one thing is that you guys are great. I mean, what you guys are doing here so far, I'm really going towards like ADUs and adding to, just like what Justin was saying. We're kind of on the similar path. We're all looking for how do we increase business, but the main thing is you should stop and try to get your margins better. We look at that. Obviously, we run pretty good, about 18% margins. But my main thing is, you know, let's take a step back. Let's look at what we got and plan a little better, because it's going to take me time if I sign up with you guys to institute this stuff anyway. So
It always does.
my partner is going to love to hear this, because as you know, we're both struggling with it as you're busy. You know, the client ends up falling through the cracks because now you just brought a new clients and you're doing a new project. So you kind of, you know, they kind of become in the rearview mirror. And so
that sounds like
that's
the revenue
kind of my
trap.
two takeaways there is
Yeah.
how do we expand our business? I'm sorry?
That sounds like the revenue trap, right? You take on a project, it doesn't go quite right. And so you have
Correct.
to take on the next project and it doesn't go quite right. So yeah, and you just spiral, right?
Too true.
We've probably all been there. Yeah. We've probably all
Yeah.
been there.
Thank
Well, I
you
really
for
appreciate that,
sharing,
Dan.
Dan. That was great. Really appreciate it. Anybody
Nicole,
else feel
Jerry,
like
Gus?
sharing? Thank you, Brian. Great to see you. We will definitely continue to stay in contact. I really appreciate
How
it.
about
Thanks, Brian.
double high fives for our guests, Brian Javelin and
Woohoo!
Jason Miller? We really appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Absolutely.
I got
Great
Thanks for hanging in there.
East Coast time.
Yeah.
I have to say goodbye and jump on to a 4:00 meeting, but thank you all for letting me participate. Jason, congratulations on your continued success, and everybody else, have a great holiday season. Happy New Year. And if anybody needs me, you know how to reach me. If you need to do the deal, you reach out. I take care of you, and we'll take it from there, everybody.
Very
Thank
good.
you, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Jason.
you.
Really appreciate it. Thank you to all of you guys. We'll be in touch.
Yeah. Any last minute questions or takeaways before we sign off today? All right.
I think we're good.
I think we're good.
Appreciate you guys.
I
Thanks for holding
appreciate
in
all
there.
of you that have reached out. I will be in touch. Jerry, Dan, Nicole, everyone, Gus. Thank you all for being here, and we look forward to connecting with you all soon. Thanks.
Awesome.
Thank
Thanks
you
very
so
much.
much. Have a great day. Good job. Bye, guys.